look, let's move right into this. And I'm gonna come to you first on this. How does this affect us? Let's actually break it down. We talked about his success and continued success out there, but there's also, we don't have a Patrick Mahomes yet.
Yes.
Not willing to say Sam Howell's that yet. We don't have a Patrick Mahomes yet. We don't have a Travis Kelce that can take over a game. And up until last year, they had a Tyreek Hill. We don't have a burner like that could literally be 10, 15 yards past the defender. You know what I mean? So how does this affect us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the very first thing, and Anton mentioned it when he said, about how so much success this man will impact the locker room, is that's the first thing. It's accountability. The thing that I was excited about Scott Turner was the fact of who his dad is, and his dad is established. Not that, well, maybe his dad will be in his ear the whole time. Now you've got someone who's going to hold these players accountable, and he's got a backbone to say, listen, this is how we had success with it.
Here we go.
Like, I know you may think I'm being harsh, but I'm also showing you how we win or how to win. And I think there's already going to be mutual respect from that, because it's going to be, this guy has been around such a successful program for the last 5 years. Like, they're going to listen to him, So that the accountability, I think, is going to be the first one. I'm real curious from, there's obviously a lot of pieces that we need to retool with the offensive line, but it's going to be real interesting to see what he does with this offense. I mean, we've got a really good set of receivers, and I'm sure he sees that as our focal point. I think it's going to go away from what Ron says is, we're a running football team. Kansas City wasn't like that. Mm-mm. And not that we need to try and turn Sam Howell into Patrick Mahomes, but it could be more of the newer age thinking that we all like, where the pass is going to set up the run. We're going to do short, quick passes. We're going to utilize our backs and our tight ends on routes to extend to get that 5, 6, 7 yards. And now we're on second and short and we're running the ball. So I think that's going to be interesting to just kind of see how he creates this. I'm most interested right now, though, is to see how does he utilize our running back room. Because this is a stark contrast to what they had in Kansas City. Yeah. And in Kansas City, they weren't featuring running backs the way Ron has kind of said that he wanted to, and how in the last couple of years, Washington has been successful when we ground and pound and control the ball. And that hasn't really been Kansas City's MO. So it's like, okay, so what is he going to do with the guy like Brian Robinson? Does he see that there's more out of him than what is already being made? What does it do for a guy like Gibson, who we talked about early in the season was being utilized as a weapon? And does this help out his career even more? Because he's got a coach who says, I have a weapon, let me get him the ball. So I think it's going to be really intriguing to see how he takes some of our pieces that are talented and how he utilizes them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about, the fundamentals, attention to detail, and him being a passionate guy. That's one of the things I've been hearing a lot about, is that he's very passionate, and he will get riled up. He'll get in your face, but it's because he sees things and he sees them going a certain way. He's seen, like you said, them have success in Kansas City working this way. So he knows, what type of things work. And the fact that this guy has championship caliber, like you said. You know what I mean? Coming from the Chiefs, they just won. Being in the last 4 or 5 AFC championships, winning, 3 of the last 4 AFC championships, going to the Super Bowl to win 2 Super Bowls. I mean, that's huge. We touted Jeff Zanina a year ago because he brought that championship mindset, that culture, being from the Rams. This can only help us with a team that, yes, I mean, we're teetering, but there were some games. You look at that first game with Carson Wentz where he threw 4 touchdown passes. That offense was explosive. That second half in Detroit, we put up 27 points, and we were hitting them deep a lot. I think that he's going to have fun being able to work with a young guy and the weapons that he has, because another weapon that we talked about Gibson. This will, I think, open up Brian Robinson's game. And you mentioned that, he doesn't use running backs like maybe the Titans or the Colts, where this is our bell cow, this is our guy. And as we saw towards the end of the season, obviously, the gunshot wounds and everything else contributed, but Brian Robinson was worn out.
Yes.
He was tired. This could take those snaps away from him till he is more effective. Then you add in what's it called? McKissick. You bring this guy back and get him fully healthy. Then it kind of reminds me of kind of like Andy Reid had a running back that torched us in the screen game for years named Bryant Westbrook. It kind of reminds me of that, where it kind of gets these guys out in space, but it designs plays for them to come in. And I mean, one of the things that I saw in the Super Bowl, the misdirection was just, it was on point. It literally had you going with the flow one way, and they had the McKinnons, they had the Pachecos coming up underneath. And then at the end of the day, I don't know if you saw it late in the Super Bowl, they had a pro set formation, and they pulled both the guards, and they ran like the old school sweep like the Green Bay Packers did. So you're bringing back the old school run when it's necessary, but then you're also getting these guys out on the edge, getting them in space, getting them in beneficial situations with one-on-one with a linebacker, you know what I mean, or a safety, where these guys can make big plays, man. And I think he's going to bring some of that to us, to where we don't have to sit here and focus on taking the top off. We can sit here and needle you down the field, have 3rd and 3s and get ahead of the chains and slowly. And then when we need it, hit you with that special, hit you with something that's really going to turn the tide. So I love that he's bringing that to us. But I think it's going to be, it remains to be seen, the running back room, because we have a couple guys in there that, that we could say maybe Brian Robinson's our bell cow, but to be quite honest with you, we are built for a running back by committee. We have 3, I'd say, average to above average running backs, and Robinson and McKissick and Gibson, that are threats, not only just running the ball up the middle, but also in the pass game. Those are the things. And what can he unlock from Brian Robinson? Like you said, we don't know what his receiving prowess is. We know what his running is. What can he unlock in these guys? So that is what I am very excited to see. And man, I think he's going to bring that kind of professionalism and that championship, and that, that first day when he comes in there with that ring and be like, "You want one of these? Follow me."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I agree.
Well, thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.